AskReddit, how do you feel about the federal smoking age being raised to 21 nationwide effective summer 2020? Sounds really shitty for anyone who is 18-20 that currently smokes. I was 20 when the law changed to 21 in Maryland. They grandfathered in military people, because apparently it helps with the being in the army thing. And I was just like, great, meanwhile I am still addicted. In Texas, when they raised the smoking and vaping age to 21, anyone who was between 18-20 before the law went to effect automatically got grandfathered in. I think smoking is something that is dangerously unhealthy and should be discouraged as much as possible for the betterment of the country. The fact that people are getting up in arms over not being able to slowly commit suicide at their leisure is idiotic. However, the idea that the government can tell us with a straight face that 18-20-year-olds are too irresponsible to smoke or drink while simultaneously allowing those same people of that age group to sign up for tens of thousands of dollars worth of student loan debt, drive motor vehicles, work at government jobs, and fight in our military is idiotic. They need to pick one. Either 18 is the age of adulthood or 21 is. They can't have it both ways. I disagree in principle with different ages of legality. As others have said, at 18 you should be able to do everything. Disagree with that? Then change the age of everything. Voting, smoking, drinking, joining the military, etc. to whatever you think the new age is. Don't like smoking, or want to weaken the tobacco companies' grasp on people. Increase the tax dramatically so that people can't afford it, based on how much money smoking-related health issues can cost society. There's an argument that can be made that the government should tax the product enough to offset those costs, similar to a carbon tax argument. There's a separate point being made that the brain doesn't fully develop till age 25. You could use that as the basis for establishing the drinking and smoking age. But back to my thought above. You should be willing to change the ages of everything else to 25. Clearly, not going to happen. At my high school it was easier to find cocaine than alcohol. I expect cocaine prices to skyrocket. Yep. People will switch from vaping to smoking crack. Last time I remember, drug dealers don't ask for ID. Fuckload of difference it'll make. You'll still see 13-year-olds passing a packet of straights at the local park pretending they're harder than the Rice Krispies they had for breakfast. It's a precursor to the voting age being raised again to 21. I'm opposed for two reasons. It's even more federal overreach. And at what point are we going to raise the age of majority to 21? We keep finding more ways to curtail the freedoms of legal adults in the name of safety, or other convenient excuses. They either get full rights and responsibilities at 18 or 21. No more of this second-class citizen shit for 18-20. If your parents no longer have to care for you at 18, why is one of the most in-demand low-requirement jobs, CDL driver, off the table until 21? Why can they buy a long gun but not a handgun? Pay taxes, but not drink? Either you cut these second-class citizens a break by making them tax-free as a trade-off for limited rights, or you give them full rights at 18. I was 19 when they changed the law where I am. I feel like if they're gonna do this, they need to grandfather in people who can already legally buy them. I don't think the government has any business telling an adult what they can do with their body. An 18-year-old can vote, own property, get married, and die for his or her country. That person is entitled to smoke, drink, and snort whatever they damn well please. This is America. I am a citizen, not a king's subject. I don't need the government's permission to live my life. Also, fuck on camera for money. You can take one up the ass live on camera for money, but God forbid you have a smoke afterwards. I absolutely detest smoking and lost my dad to lung cancer. I still think raising the age is ridiculous and unfair. If someone can die for our country, I think they should be able to smoke a cigarette and drink a beer. Counterpoint. Raise the age of enlistment to 21. Fair enough. Of course the military-industrial complex would never allow for that. being able to contact high school seniors that are barely 18 and paint the military as the ideal way to start your adult life is a huge recruiting tool for them. I'm from a rural town that they recruit from heavily. I received multiple phone calls as an 18-year-old senior in high school, and about 10% of my graduating class ended up enlisting. Wait, what? Yeah. When the hell did this happen, and why is it not news? I realized the wording might confuse some. Trump signed a bill that was mostly written to fund the government until September of 2020, but what was tacked onto it was legislation that raises the age to smoke to 21 nationwide. This isn't hypothetical. It's happening. How do you feel about these events? I thought people are considered adults at 18. What's the point if you have to be 21 for everything? So they can recruit for the military. I think it is a great idea. The old one of 18 worked so well. As far as I know, no one under the age of 18 has ever smoked. Rough for current nicotine addicts under 21, but I'd far rather see this than a ban on anything vaping related. I know it's fashionable to claim sweet flavors are made for children, but you're going to find very few adult vapors who would be willing to give up those flavors. Prohibition just drives black market demand. How haven't these old fucks running legislation figured that out? Maybe this time won't be like last time. Raising the age is different than prohibition. It was far easier for myself and other kids to get illegal drugs in high school, due to the black market, as you point out, or to buy tobacco, which we were almost never carded for, and some older kids were 18. Then it was to buy alcohol. You know, I have to say I disagree with President Trump on this one. Yeah. Smoking is really bad for you. I hate it. I think it's retarded, and I'd love to see the industry die. I don't believe that restricting a legal adult's choice to do what they'd like within the bounds of what doesn't hurt other people in a significant or impactful way is right. I agree. Although smoking can be harmful to others in the form of secondhand smoke and smoking while pregnant, I still think adults should be the ones in control of whether they want to give themselves cancer or not. Why is it important that the government should be so involved in a personal decision anyway? Fuck off already with the regulating stuff. So no minimum smoking age? Cause, you know, raising the legal age totally stops minors from doing what they want. As long as there is a Mr. Tahey, there will be minors enjoying sweet nicotine. You can have gender alterations starting from the age of 11-12 upwards. You can be tried in court and sentenced as an adult from the age of 12-15 upwards. You can operate a 2-ton hunk of steel moving at 80 mph from the age of 14-16 upwards. You can get married from the age of 14-17 upwards. You can permanently leave ink infused into your skin from the age of 16-18 upwards. You can enlist in the military / be forced into conscription from the age of 17-18 upwards. You can participate in pornographic film from the age of 18 upwards. You can vote from the age of 18 upwards. But you can't drink, and now smoke until you're 21. And in certain states, you can't gamble or buy a firearm until you're 21. So a 12-year-old is mature enough to determine what gender they are and mature enough to be sent to a federal penitentiary. But they aren't mature enough to have a drink or smoke. A 16-year-old can get married, have a job, a husband / wife, and a child, but not have a drink or smoke. An 18-year-old can go join the military, be licensed to kill other people in foreign countries with firearms and explosives, and die in these foreign countries before they can drink or smoke. Edit. Spells. Why should an 18-year-old be allowed to join the military and potentially die for this country, but they aren't old enough to decide for themselves if they want a fucking cigarette? I think it's a very good thing. It makes it much harder to smoke when you are young, as it is a terrible habit. More importantly, it will hopefully lessen the prevalence of smoking in high schools. Back when I was in high school, it was common for the underage smokers to go to a small area just outside school property to smoke. And 18-year-olds could make a lot of cash going to gas stations and smoke shops. buying cartons, and selling packs to kids. Now officials can easily enforce the rule with impunity because now nobody at a high school can have cigs, vapes, etc. Whereas before it was sort of a legal gray area where it wasn't supposed to happen / possession was a problem even if you were 18, but the school won't bother unless you are actively lighting up. Maybe that is a controversial opinion, but I think it's for the best. Smoking is a trashy, awful habit that took the lives of many of my family through cancers. And young people shouldn't have anything to do with it. I definitely don't think it will curb the habits. And demand will likely go up. But honestly, I think the demand would exist regardless. Maybe I'm a fool for thinking this way. That said, if they waste their time on stupid penalties and criminal punishments for this, I'd be furious. It's a fucking cigarette, not a brick of coke or an illegally acquired automatic weapon. The worst that should happen is confiscation. And schools can do disciplinary actions at the school level, along with anti-smoking classes and programs for repeat offenders. I think we should vote out any politician who infringes on our right to do what we want with our own bodies. I don't smoke and never have, but I respect the rights of those who do. If you want to give yourself cancer, that's your right. Who starts smoking at 18 anyway? It's usually 15-16. If you can be tried as an adult and drafted as an adult, you deserve all the rights and privileges. Yeah. If you are basically saying an 18-year-old isn't mature enough to make decisions, how are you going to justify trying them as an adult in court? A few states are actually thinking about raising the juvenile age to 21. California, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont already did it. And vote as an adult. And take out tens of thousands of dollars worth of student loans as an adult. Edit. And operate a 2-ton metal death machine that goes over 100 mph every day. I think we need to take a serious look at the way we're defining adulthood in this country. We're saying that people between the ages of 18-20 can't have a smoke or a drink. Yet we're saying that 18 is old enough to make young men serve in military and die for their country. Nobody is saying that smoking is healthy or should be encouraged. But if we truly think that people don't have the mental capacity to choose whether or not they want to use alcohol or tobacco until 21, then why call them adults when they're 18? If 18-20 is too young for a damn smoke or a drink after a long day or putting your life at risk for your country, then maybe we should raise enlisting in the army to 21 as well. Wow, you are so wonderful for listening. Hit like button and subscribe for more daily stories.